Have you got a lot of card tricks that you're going to be learning?
Oh, I'm sure there'll be all that fun stuff. Yeah, I mean, I was a fan of Gambit since I was a kid, so there's a lot of things that I've been looking forward to getting to do for a very, very long time. So I mean, I can't tell you all the good stuff just yet, but yeah.
I'm hoping for some fancy moves.
It shouldn't feel like a big superhero movie. That's my hope for it. It'll feel more like a very tiny sort of New Orleans, crazy, insane film.
Hello and welcome back to Cancelled Movie Report, the documentary podcast series that talks about the best movies that Hollywood never made. My name is Michael Campbell, but you can call me Cambo, and joining me again to finish off the season and finish off the report is Mr. Alexei Toliopoulos.
Oh my gosh, we were left on such a cliffhanger. I can't wait to find out what happens to Gambit in Paris, in his beautiful apartment that's locked away in the face of a clock tower, which I think is the coolest shit ever.
Yeah, we didn't ruminate enough on that. Maybe we can when we get into the episode. But just in case you're having trouble remembering details like that, here's a quick recap for you.
I would like to play Gambit. Gambit's my favorite.
Rupert Wyatt signed on to direct the film. 3 U.S. Marshals escort a restrained prisoner through the facility. When brought into the New Orleans courtroom, the prisoner is asked to state his name. And with a wry smile, he simply says,
"The name is Remy Labo."
The boy has no family and he lives in a shanty. He finds a whole collection of things that the kid has stolen, including a beautiful engagement ring.
Sometimes I wonder why you phone up with family. They don't even know the reason for me.
I ain't screwing around.
Maybe I could do this. 1 minute.
Remy, now!
Gambit hurls a kinetically charged tarot card and the explosion kills Julian instantly. And in the shootout, Luke is mortally wounded also. Gambit is cast out by the only family he's ever known. We're now into the 80s. It's 10 years later.
He wants to pay you $40 million to rob Belladonna and her family.
Gambit watches the events replay. He sees Marianne Bordeaux step up behind Luke and shoot him in the back.
You said you was bringing us a ring.
And I have.
Look at his coat. Dude's dressed like he's on a safari. Oh.
Marianne's rolling with some real bad dudes, and if she get her way, we'll be wiped clean off the map.
Inside the plantation grounds, the crew watches as thugs unload green pills, marked with a hand-drawn double helix.
They said he was dead. What are you doing here?
A little birdie told me you pulled off a real big score. I'm getting paid to steal it back.
LeBron. Kill him.
Gambit and Charlie find Henri sprinting through the trees, shockingly fast. He admits that he's been using the mutant genome drug that were being stored in the shed. He suddenly swerves hard and crashes the Cadillac through the front doors of a police station. As Gambit is now in prison with his cousins. But something more dangerous is coming for him now. Now, for the last time this season, let's get back into the film. I am curious if, so far from what we've heard, you can see where the $154 million has gone.
Well, I'm trying to use my most vivid of imaginations, I guess, to imagine how chaotic and crazy all this action is going to be. Are they actually filming on location in Paris? Maybe that's how it kind of like yoinks it up a little bit. Otherwise, it's more understated than your typical, $100 million plus superhero movies are. It's more in that, like we were saying, it really feels much more like a heist movie with a few superhero elements in the form of superpowers, mutations, probably a few more elaborate prosthetic costumes and effects and stuff. It's more in the lane of your typical heist crime genre picture. And those can reach a bigger price point, but not 100 mil plus.
Yeah, I would say there's nothing that so far this has done that like Deadpool didn't do.
Yeah.
Car chases and stuff like that.
And do you remember what the price point on the original Deadpool was? Because it was done at a more reasonable budget than your multi-$100 million type superhero films.
I think it was around $60 million.
Okay. And so far that's sounding what this feels like. 60, maybe 80, maybe 90.
Yeah, there are some sequences coming up that I guess would expand it a little bit,
Okay.
but I still find it so funny that they were like, let's go small, and then they so quickly put such a huge price tag on it.
I mean, I guess that unless they're like pitching to get much bigger stars outside of Léa Seydoux and Channing Tatum, who would pitch like a pretty decent price point even at this point in time. And I think, you know, both of them bring a little bit more... Like, both bring, like, a good credibility to a project like this, artistic credibility and film-going credibility and all that stuff. But unless they're, like, going, we've got a villain who is going to be, like, a mega star coming up.
Here's a question for you. Who is the main villain of this, do you think?
At the moment, I couldn't tell you. And I'll let the record show, in reality, we've taken a 20 minute break. A lot of the details have actually...
we've taken a week. We've taken 1 week break.
We took a week. But even...
shatter the illusion.
It felt like 20 minutes to me, and even in that time, outside of Gambit and the Léa Seydoux character and Jacqueline, I can't really remember any of the other characters. But that's also because I'm not watching it as a movie. I'm experiencing it as a conversation.
Yes, yeah, that is also true. But I only say that because I would argue, no, based on my knowledge, that the main villain has yet to enter.
Oh, okay. So, yes, then I think that you could squirrel away $10 to $15 million to get... who's a megastar in 2014? Zac Efron? I'm trying to think who can command that kind of money.
Only Zac Efron in that time period.
Yeah, but like, who would it be? Who someone is like that big? I guess it would have to be a bit of a legacy actor or something like that, like someone who's quite big.
So we're now in the prison. Gambit, Henri, and Charlie are placed in a holding cell with 9 other men. Henri is sweating and he's visibly ill. He's having withdrawals from the symptoms of the drug he's taken. And Gambit tends to him as Fifelet, the mutant assassin, arrives in the prison. And his body is crackling with electrical energy. He phases through the bars and he viciously attacks Gambit. And just when it seems that Gambit will be killed, a tall, eerie man named Nathaniel Essex whistles from the shadows. His quiet companion, a young woman named Alice, passes a pistol to Fifelet, telekinetically. Under Alice's psychic influence, Fifelet calmly takes the pistol, turns it on himself, and pulls the trigger.
That's hectic. That is like the best of this movie. The best thing that's been doing, we praise entirely in that first episode, is the balancing and blending of crime set pieces, things that you associate the imagery and feelings of crime films, and then giving a little bit of a superhero touch. That is an excellent version of that. And I can imagine people feeling like this. Watching that in the cinema, I can imagine like a silence hitting the crowd.
Yeah,
a stunned silence, not a disinterested one, a stunned one.
It's the classic trick of what they've done is they've set up Fifelet as this merciless killer. And then when you have your villain introduced, they very candidly take care of the one that everyone else is scared of. That's how powerful they are. It's a great way to kind of, invert that expectation.
Wow. How is Nathaniel described?
He's in shadows at this point, but Nathaniel Essex is actually Mr. Sinister in the comic books. And looking into it, I'm unsure what direction they would have gone. Mr. Sinister traditionally is British, and I don't know whether they would have Americanized him in this, but for our version, we have lent into the British kind of origins of the character. But Fifelet has just shot themselves, and the cell is silent as the prisoners are kind of reeling in horror. And Gambit is stunned, and he locks eyes with Essex in the shadow. When suddenly, he begins to hear Essex's voice inside his own head.
I think the words you're looking for are, "You're welcome."
Whatever. I had him right where I wanted him.
Remy, privacy is really important to me, okay? I'm gonna have my assistant just put my thoughts right into your head.
Okay. Alright. I'm gonna go out on a limb here. You're the one who sent me that tape. Those were your drugs Marianne stole. That's what I was hired to steal back. Only, you don't strike me as a drug dealer.
Close. I'm a geneticist. My business is manufacturing. And now, because you played it fast and loose today, the Boudreaux just wised up and moved all my stolen pharmaceuticals to a more secure location. Nice going, sport.
Whoops.
Remy, let me ask you something. Do you know what killed Elvis Presley? Just humor me.
He died on the toilet. So what?
Well, some people say it was drugs, but some say it was the loss of a woman he loved very deeply, his mother. After her death, Elvis became inconsolable, unmoored, alone. Then it was the Benzedrine, girls, weight gain. His life became a race to zero.
What's your point?
Remy, I hired you because I wanted an artist. I see so much potential in you. If you had some discipline, you could be one of the most powerful mutants the world has ever seen. But I wonder, after everything you lost, if you don't feel a little unmoored, a little alone. I just hate to see you go down that same sad, self-destructive path, buddy. Which, judging by your performance today, is exactly what's happening. In other words, I'm afraid I paid good money for an artist, and what I got was a fat Elvis. Remy, it's time to stop screwing around. I don't have a lot of patience, so I'm going to have Alice here put this plot straight into your head, okay?
We suddenly see a cascade of images. We're in the back of a speeding truck with stolen loot. And through it all, we finally arrive at a battered metal trunk.
Out of all the items stolen during the flood, only one is of real value. A trunk. We believe this trunk is now en route to a new location where it will be sold at auction. Your job will be to...
We suddenly cut out of the telepathic conversation. We're now with Henri and Charlie. They see only Gambit and Alice silently gesticulating.
Dude, are you catching any of this?
Nah, but I'm getting kind of a Foxy Manson vibe from Homegirl over here.
We're back into the telepathic conversation.
It's impossible. Even if I had a month to plan.
You have 4 days.
And should I even bother asking what's in this trunk?
Remy, ever since mutation was discovered, it's always been us versus them. People fear us, they hunt us down, then some mutant gets pissed off, nearly destroys the world, everybody panics, blah 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 blah, etc. etc. But with these drugs, if we all have a little mutant blood in our veins, there is no more us and them. No more stigma, no more hate, mutations safe as apple pie. Now, my work can do that. So do your job, get back my trunk, and help me save mankind from itself, huh?
And if, hypothetically, I told you that what you're asking me to do is suicide, and that you can take that trunk and stick it up your ass.
Well, then I'd have to show you, just hypothetically, what would happen to you, your Yahoo cousins, and their families.
Suddenly we see a slew of violent images rip through Gambit's mind.
But Remy, amigo, I really don't want to do that. I've seen a lot of mutants come and go in my time, and like I said, with a little help, you could be spectacular.
There's rarely been a more on-the-nose villainous introduction than someone that just monologues for 3 minutes straight.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Nicely, the prose of that is all quite fun, the dialogue, I mean.
Yeah.
It's like you said, spot on villainous characterization straight away.
I like the choice that he's kind of a weird dick. Like, he's not overly cacklingly sinister. He just has weird metaphors that he's using, and he's just a bit weird, and I kind of like it.
Do we know who they were looking for this at the time?
No, this one doesn't have any reported casting. There was rumors for a while that Mr. Sinister could have been John Hamm.
Oh, I remember hearing that.
Yeah, but that never really came to be. And then, again, there's things in the writing that probably would have changed in the drafts that this one points to him being more traditionally Mr. Sinister. And if they had ended up casting John Hamm, I don't think he would have been British at all. I think John Hamm would have played it like John Hamm.
Yes.
But they clearly would have gone from the 80s businessman style, I think.
Okay.
That's just my thought of what they would have done given the films they were making. But yeah, this one didn't have, like Belladonna, didn't have any rumored casting until later after this when the John Hamm rumors started.
Okay, cool. Because I can see it being like something like a Mark Strong or someone, or, I mean, if they're going older, maybe like a Jeremy Irons, like if they're trying to get like a legacy actor in, Timothy Dalton, something like that. I'm trying to imagine who it would be that they're trying to get if they're going British.
Do you think after Dungeons & Dragons you could get Jeremy Irons back into a movie like this?
I mean, yeah, he's doing Alfred around this time too, you know.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
I reckon he's in the... And Watchmen, he's in the bag to get a bit of that superhero cash.
Well, he's got to keep buying castles.
Exactly, he loves his castles. He's got to get those castles, people.
So as Essex departs the cell and he walks through the prison, we see that every prisoner and object that's not nailed down hovers just slightly in the air, kind of frozen in suspended animation. Kind of clear that this guy's powers seem to be at a whole other level. He's controlling entire buildings, and he's just stuck everything to remain still and slightly floating, and then everything kind of drops when he leaves. Meanwhile, Marianne Bourgeois is overseeing the unloading of the stolen loot at the Palace of Chance, an old gambling house now converted into a stronghold. And in particular, the trunk catches her eye. She orders it taken to the vault, clearly very important, whatever's in this trunk. That's what Nathan Essex is after. It's what she wants kept hidden. And then when Vincent returns to her, he breaks the news that someone intervened during Gambit's prison assault. Marianne is visibly upset, and she urges Bella to deal with the Remy problem, saying that her daughter is Gambit's one true weakness. Meanwhile, back at Henri's shotgun house, cousin Charlie's preparing to leave New Orleans for good. He's unnerved by everything that's just happened, from the psychic assassins to the mutant drug rings. He said, "I'm out." Gambit tries to convince him to stay, revealing that he's got a new plan. What they're going to do is they're going to rob the Thieves' Ball, a secret underworld auction where Marianne plans to sell the stolen goods. Charlie laughs the idea off as suicidal, and despite Gambit and Henri's protest, Charlie drives off, leaving the last two LeBeau cousins alone. Inside now, Gambit and Henri begin sketching out their plan. They've got names, maps, security systems, and they're all laid out across the table in front of them.
Our biggest problem is going to be breaking in. That ball's got buku security.
I got it. What about staging a raid? I know this group of classically trained actors. We put them all in cop uniforms, right?
We're not using shields and plants, Henri. It ain't my style. We need a crew.
Well, Marianne's got most of Storyville on the payroll. But I do have this one mutant hookup.
We're not using mutants, Henri. You can't trust them.
You do realize how insane that sounds. You're a mutant.
Case in point.
Jesus, Remy. We got 4 days. Charlie's gone. Only way to pull this off is with mutant skills.
Fine. 5 minutes. Then we're gone.
We cut to the French Quarter. We're on a street during the day. We see Harry, a man in his 50s, a silver-skinned statue. He stands on a milk crate. Folks pass by putting dollars in his hat. Henri sticks a $100 bill in his hat.
That's real generous, Henri. You got something on your mind?
This dude talk like he had a stroke. Take all day.
You see, that's the problem with folks today. Always galloping through life. I find you want to get things done, you gotta slow it down.
As Harry steps off the crate, the world around him speeds up. Tourists walk 3 times as fast. But Harry now moves at normal speed.
Aye, now that we all on the same wavelength, how can I help?
We looking for some mutants to take on Marianne Boudreaux.
You taking on the godmother? Not a lot of mutants willing to die on that hill. But I might know one or two. In fact, I hear a few gathering in Storyville as we speak.
How do you know that?
I listen to the city boy. I hear it whisper. I can hear how many babies are being born in this parish. 7. And I hear the 3 folks dying in their beds. I even remember, way back, the city telling me about you. A very talented child living in a hovel under the levee. Only funny thing, this city won't tell me nothing about your kin. It's like you just appeared right there on Skid Row.
We used to say his ass crawled right out of the swamp.
Well, guess some secrets even Orleans don't know.
Yeah, well, I stopped caring about that origin crap long ago. We're losing time. Now you got a name for us or what?
Careful, Henri. Bad juju from this one. Here is a map. Go to the revival tents down by the swamp. I hear a girl there may be able to help y'all.
Much obliged, Henry.
Come back and see me anytime, Henri. World keeps turning. I'll be right here.
I want to make 2 points. One is behind the scenes of this show, which is that we have to go and find music that is licensed music that is commercially usable to use in these scenes. And I've never had more fun doing that than when I was looking for heist style music. Just listening to song after song of like cool bass lines and like little like piano keys every now and again. And the second is that the ending of that scene in particular sounds such a video game quest mission.
That's so funny.
It's like, you need to go to this location and find this person, and they might be able to help you a little bit.
It's like it's a cut scene, then you get regain control of your character.
Yeah.
Then the character has like an internal monologue that basically repeats the cliff notes of
all right,
that.
better go to the revival tent.
In case someone skipped the cut scene.
Oh, it's so funny. I mean, maybe they could have just used the dialogue for the video game adaptation of this as well.
Mm-hmm.
So Gambit and Henri, they arrive at a strange makeshift revival church tent where a preacher is kind of theatrically delivering a fire and brimstone sermon. And it seems his miracles are actually being helped by Dani Moonstar, a young mutant. She uses her illusion powers to conjure up kind of clawed demons that terrify the congregation. Gambit approaches her after the sermon with a wad of cash. In her trailer, she explains her power a little bit. She can conjure people's worst fears or their desires. And to prove her worth, she shows Gambit exactly what he's subconsciously wishing for. What do you think he sees a vision of?
Probably a bit of X-Men Apocalypse, probably a little bit of Dark Phoenix, maybe going back to all the way up to X2, where Nightcrawler like tries to scare the president of the United States or whatever. They just show stuff from all the other X-Men movies to just go, yeah, this is awesome.
That's what's upcoming in this universe.
Yeah, look out. This is what's going on.
No, in fact, he sees a steamy vision of Bella stepping out of the shower.
Oh my gosh! Now that is one of the great superpowers.
Gambit is captivated until it snaps back to reality and he realizes that he's actually been affectionately petting Dani's bulldog.
Uh-oh.
Just a little comedy beat for you there, Alexei.
Yeah, I like this. This is my kind of humor, quite bawdy.
Yeah. You can so imagine the whoa kind of reaction as well.
Uh-oh, it looks like I struck that bulldog.
And you know that Henri is going to be making a sly comment on the side. So they're pretty impressed and mildly embarrassed from Gambit, but they recruit her. Next, Danny points them to two more prospects, Jamie Madrox and Mask. Now, Jamie can duplicate himself several times over. I don't know whether Jamie's multiple man. It doesn't mention him as such in the script. And Mask, he's a skilled disguise artist. He can kind of make himself or others look like anyone else. Back at their hideout, which is a repurposed car in Storyville, Alice, Essex assistant, arrives with a suitcase full of money. She's pretty unimpressed by the young, rough around the edges crew, but Gambit lays out the plan. In 2 days, during the Mardi Gras, the 6 of them will infiltrate and rob the Thieves' Ball. As Gambit's team discuss their plans to infiltrate the Palace of Chance, we actually see that Bella, now with her psychic ability, is nearby their hideout, and she actually secretly takes control of the mutant Mask. She's using his body to spy on them and work out their plan. And through the crew, she sees that they're thinking of sneaking in as caterers.
Classic.
It's revealed, though, that Gambit has misled all of them. He's arranged for them to enter disguised as musicians in the orchestra.
Oh, okay.
This misdirection is critical because he knows that Bella is a psychic and can read Gambit's plan. But no one can read his plan if no one properly knows it. So Marianne and Bella attempt to intercept Gambit's crew using a decoy catering van while his enemies are detaining innocent caterers. Gambit's team sneaks in to the palace with the other Mardi Gras performers. The rest of the crew are pretty annoyed at Gambit, but he explains that it was necessary to protect the plan from Bella's mind reading. It's a cool little twist. I don't mind that.
Yeah, me too.
Don't mind the idea that's like the plan is that no one knows the plan.
Yeah.
Inside the palace, this crime syndicate from around the world gathers. Marianne takes the stage and she declares there's a bounty on Gambit's head. Meanwhile, Gambit splits from Henri and climbs up into the owner's box, suspecting that Bella might be nearby, and sure enough, he finds her inside, and he confronts her. Gambit offers Bella a glimpse into his mind in exchange for answers, and she's stunned by the powerful memories that she's seeing in his mind. His abusive childhood, a botched bank heist where she abandoned him, and finally the romantic future he once imagined for both of them.
Oh, wow. So you can even see memories that don't exist.
Yeah,
Just memories of a thought.
Well, yeah, it's thoughts, I guess, more than memories.
I like that.
So she's suddenly quite taken aback by the emotion that this brings on, and the two start to kiss.
Is that actually like... So in that, that's him going... how can I seduce this person? Oh, think about how sad I've been. I'll think about that. She'll see that. Think about my sad life. That'll kind of get her in that. Then I'll think about how cool it would have been if we were together. And then she'll think about that. Okay. I think that's pretty... To me, that reads as a comedy beat, but I don't think it's played as one at all.
I don't think it is. I think he read the game as like, how do I manipulate her in all the emotional ways necessary to seduce?
Yep.
So as they kiss and fall onto a bed in a back room, Gambit discreetly slips something into her pocket, and then suddenly he zip ties her to the bedpost. He gets up and he knocks on the door to alert someone. Alice enters with a gun drawn. Bella realizes too late that this was all part of Gambit's plan. He planned to seduce her and then lock her away. She's pretty enraged and humiliated, and she accused him of being a scumbag. And Gambit's reply says that just because I lied doesn't mean it wasn't true. He leaves Bella restrained but alive and warns Alice not to harm her. With Bella restricted and the crew in place, the heist is officially underway. Gambit and Henri sneak into the vault levels of the Palace of Chance, while Danny, Jamie, and Mask move into positions upstairs. From the upper levels, Danny starts projecting psychic illusions to manipulate key players of the ball, creating moments of confusion or even seduction or distraction, really just getting into everyone's head and causing a bit of chaos. Marianne Boudreau realizes that something is wrong. As high-end loot is moving through the basement, she orders an increased security. But Danny uses her mutant powers to cast illusions, making the guards confront kind of deeply personal hallucinations on their way down there, clearing a path for Gambit and Henri to reach the vault. Inside the vault, they find the rusted trunk. Shockingly, the trunk doesn't contain treasure. Now, in this kind of movie, do you have any guesses? There's been a big build-up for this trunk, what the trunk might contain.
I reckon it's going to contain the deck of cards that Gambit will use for the rest of his life. Going, this is my kinetic charging.
Oh, like his signature. And what?
Because it's like, it's a bit of a prequel, like not a prequel, but origins movie.
What importance do you think everyone holds on this pack of cards?
I think it's really powerful stuff. Going, oh, that's how he got his cards. That's how Gambit got his cards.
No, it's not treasure. Inside,
it is the bandana thing that he wears. That
not the weird
cut-out head, balaclava with a cut-out hairpiece.
No, inside the trunk is a young mutant girl named Sarah.
Oh my gosh!
And Sarah, this young mutant in the comics is the mutant Marrow.
Oh, what's Marrow do? We'll find out. Yeah, sorry. I just became my mum watching a movie with you. Just go like, and what's that? I go, you're going to find out, love. Oh, who's that? It's like, you're about to find out. You know the same information that I do watching the movie with you.
Now, there's some dialogue that indicates that people were kind of aware of Sarah maybe having gone missing. And Bella arrives down in the basement. She's managed to escape with a gun. But upon seeing the young girl, she realizes what this poor young girl has been through. She also realizes that in a way she has also been a prisoner of her own mother.
Ooh.
Because her mum is now transporting young kids across state lines.
Oh my God, Ghislaine Maxwell, eat your heart out.
I know that Marianne is bad, but I don't know if she's that bad. So she decides now that she actually cannot condone this, and she's going to turn on her family as well. As Danny's illusions begin to falter, the security guards start waking up. The team, now with Bella and Sarah, fight their way through the basement, reaching an elevator that opens dramatically into the auction stage upstairs, right in front of the entire room of dangerous criminals. Marianne furiously orders the doors locked and puts a bounty on their heads, and chaos erupts. Gambit starts throwing and exploding gold coins into the crowd, setting off massive mutant brawls. He, Bella, Henri, and Sarah fight their way through the wave of mafia thugs and assassins, all while trying to protect Sarah. Marianne corners them with a shotgun. She attempts to kill Gambit, but Sarah actually steps in front of him and takes the entire blast of the shotgun. But she survives and begins rapidly healing. She snaps a bone. She snaps a bone from her face and she stabs Marianne in the leg with it.
Oh my gosh!
Bella seizes control psychologically, and then she jumps on her mother and forcing her psychologically to start confessing to her crimes in front of police that are now arriving at the scene.
This is a cool right now.
Also, I just want to point out, I should have pointed this out earlier, really, if I was a professional, but the plan that Essex has, by the way, that these drugs could make everyone a little bit of a mutant, that's the plot of X-Men 1.
Oh, is it?
That's Magneto's whole plan, is that if he can make everyone a mutant, then there is no... So I wonder if in universe Magneto was influenced by this.
Wow, I thought their plan was turn this senator into like a jellyfish guy, into this goo guy.
And then I guess turn everyone else into the goo guy when they put it in the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. They'll go for a swim and turn into a goo guy.
The crowd is pretty stunned, and the family's empire is collapsing because Marianne has now confessed to all these crimes in front of the police, being arrested. Gambit leads the team, now all fugitives, onto the rooftops during Mardi Gras. They're pursued by police, but they escape thanks to Danny, Jamie, and Mask, who unleash a dazzling distraction. Now, for this dazzling distraction, I just want to point out that in the script, Josh Zedemer, the writer, has made a note. And the note says, "I was dreaming when I wrote this. Forgive me if it goes astray." So, Mask reaches up and changes Jamie's face, but we can't quite see what he's changing into. And as he's doing this, Jamie then starts making dozens and dozens of copies of himself. And as the doubles fill the street, behind Gambit and his crew, cops step out of their car, and they're looking onto the street in awe. And suddenly a song starts playing. In the street before them are 150 Gambits, and all of them are dancing to Prince's 1999. So this is how they distract the police so that the others can get away, is that there's an extended dance sequence with 150 Gambits.
What the heck?
Now, in his defense, he was dreaming when he wrote that.
What the heck? When did that song come out? Like, I guess in the 80s?
It would have been in the 80s, yeah. Yeah, that's the big Prince heyday.
Yeah, that's, this is so wackadoodle dandy right
They
now.
even point out, because it's Mardi Gras going on as well, they point out that in the background there's like fireworks going off and it's like this big spectacle of dancing
Gambits are wearing beads and have like those big, like, those giant cups that look like a vuvuzela.
And it's saying like some Gambits are like dancing with strangers in the street or seducing women or
go for it. Make a guy's dream come true.
Like I would have loved to have seen hundreds of Gambits dancing to Prince.
I mean, that's what you call the movie, Hundreds of Gambits.
Brackets dancing to Prince.
Yeah, beautiful.
And shoot it in the Hundreds of Beavers style.
Absolutely. Dialogue free, in costumes.
So they've now escaped thanks to the distraction of all the dancing Gambits.
And what a distraction. I mean, it took up like 7 minutes of the podcast, us talking about it.
Gambit explodes in frustration back at the crew's hideout, realizing that Essex has been manipulating him from the start. But Sarah strangely expresses a wish to return to him.
Oh.
She's insisting that he's actually been very kind to her.
Oh.
Gambit grows even more uneasy. He's determined to confront Essex and learn the truth for himself. Just to point out that Gambit himself doesn't really know where he came from either. And he has this weird kind of connection with Sarah. He's feeling this kind of kinship with her. And they arrive back at the familiar looking industrial building. Sarah uses her fingerprints and voice print to gain entry. And it's triggering something in Gambit, this whole location. The chime of the door, Gambit instinctively recognizes from his childhood. And as they enter, Gambit begins to see an eerie sign that he's been there before. Inside the gates, Gambit finds a surreal Pleasantville-like village.
Oh.
Gambit realizes with sinking horror that he actually grew up in this place.
Oh.
And that Essex has been shaping his path for far longer than he even imagined. And as Sarah is led into a medical wing, Gambit follows her. There's mutants calmly giving blood in a hospital-like donation center.
Oh my gosh.
Something feels very wrong. Gambit finds a locked door. He forces the door open and it triggers a soft alarm. He descends into an underground laboratory. And in the sublevels, he finds kind of a horrific maternity ward. Technicians sort newborn mutants and infants, taking tissue samples and injecting ones that they are deemed unfit. Gambit watches horrified as one newborn goes still after this injection. And he moves deeper and deeper into the facility where finally he reaches a birthing chamber. Inside, Essex is calmly prepping for Gambit's arrival as he puts a baby down into its cot.
There we go. It's okay. It's okay.
You're the devil.
Take it easy. I know you're expecting some kind of showdown. I'm just happy you're back. And the way you got my little Sarah back? Very clever. I couldn't have planned it better myself.
Yeah? How long till you kill her too?
Sarah? I couldn't kill her even if I tried. She's truly one of a kind. Every man, woman, and child on this planet is going to want what's in her blood. Now that's power.
It's a shame you can't say the same for the rest of these kids, huh?
Remy, these children serve a purpose, which is more than can be said for most people. But yes, some don't provide workable tissue. I can't exactly send little Billy off into the world with a lunchbox, can I? That would draw too much attention and our work would have to stop. There we are.
Okay, here's what's gonna happen. This whole freaky Jonestown compound, this is done. I'm gonna destroy your lab upstairs. These little easy bake ovens, they're gonna be gone too. I'm making my mission in life.
Oh, sure, that's fine. But before you do, let me tell you a little story. Just so you know what kind of person you're dealing with. See, the first kid in my program was one of my own. When he was born, he was this really small, frail little kid. Used to get sick all the time, and I had an idea in my mind about how it was supposed to feel having a kid. But when I looked down at him, I just felt nothing. I thought maybe that would change over time. Maybe I would grow to love him. And even though, sure, he was amusing at times, the years went by and I still felt nothing. And so I thought maybe I can make something out of this. That's when I decided to do a little experiment with him. I tried to synthesize a drug from his DNA, and you know what happened? It killed everyone who ever took it. See, my son was too unstable, too unbalanced, and that made me sick to my stomach because I knew the problem. That frail little kid, he had my bad blood. I was sure he wouldn't live past his 4th birthday, but I didn't have the heart to terminate the project. So I put him in my car and I drove him down to the river and I left him. And you know what? Afterwards, I felt much better.
No. That's bullshit.
You've always had a darkness in you. Now you know where it comes from. Me.
Gambit slides a card out of his sleeve, hurling it. Essex just puts up his hand. The card stops in midair. With a casual flick of the wrist, he redirects the card into a stone wall.
Boy, see? You just proved my point. I'll be honest, I never dreamed you'd have so much potential. Boy, was I wrong. You said you'd show me the devil, Remy. Go on, let him out.
Gambit throws another card. Essex redirects it into another wall.
You should be thanking me. I saved you. Before I intervened, you were rudderless. I got you back in the game, so show some goddamn respect.
Gambit throws a third card, even angrier. Essex redirects it. Then 6 of Essex guards rush in. They all point their guns at Gambit. Gambit holds his last card.
Okay, Tiger, here's what happens next. You've done one job for me, now you're going to keep working for me. In return, I'll teach you how to use your gifts. With a little help, I think all that anger could power this whole city. Otherwise, I hold you accountable for everything. Every crime you have committed, and there are many. I'll make sure you spend the rest of your life buried in a deep, dark hole. Now, son, do we have a deal?
Probably the least surprising twist of all time, I would say. But Nathan Essex, the mysterious man, appears to at least be indicating that he is Gambit's biological father.
Yeah.
And that's why he was experimenting on Gambit. Didn't work, so he just abandoned him by the river.
I'll tell you what this is calling to mind, contemporary as well, I guess, to this, maybe a bit after. But a lot of that Stranger Things, like 11.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. Stranger Things is 2015. So, yeah, it would have been almost exactly the same time period as well. Though that being said, that element of Stranger Things with like the weird kid village
Yeah, not
experimental
the
stuff.
X-Men Stranger Things thing that happens in season 2.
Yeah, no, but also like that you see more of Eleven's life in the weird lab later on, which is more similar to this, I guess. But yeah, that's so true. I never put that together. What do you think of that twist, though?
Well, now we're in superhero territory.
Yeah.
We've left crime genre heist, and I think that actually is kind of a downfall for a lot of these movies across the board, especially the ones that are trying to do something like this, bridging a genre gap. They do end in superhero mode instead of ending in crime genre mode or political thriller genre mode or, everything. All of them end in superhero mode.
I will also say I can see more of the budget in the race across Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
With
That's
150 gambits.
Yeah.
That's big. That's expensive.
I guess that costs money.
Yeah. and even just to get 1999 by Prince, I'm sure is not cheap.
Yeah, I think that actually would have probably been the most expensive thing in the whole movie because Prince didn't give his music to people in his lifetime. Like apart from the special versions of things, Prince's music was unlicensable. So much so that one of Spike Lee's best films, Girl 6, which has an entire Prince soundtrack, has basically gone unreleased outside of rare theatrical screenings.
It's the Malcolm in the Middle problem.
Exactly.
Yes, I no need to explain the Malcolm in the Middle problem. People understand.
Of course, Prince was played the uncle in Malcolm in the Middle, and then he changed his mind, and that's why it can never be seen ever again.
But for the longest time, it was unavailable because they used so much music that they couldn't get the license to it, or they could, but it would be prohibitively expensive.
Yeah.
But so your fear is now that because the heist thing is lost, it's turning into more traditional superhero stuff, and even now it looks like it's about to turn into a big brawl.
Yeah.
Because Gambit, his fury boils over, and his eyes turn black as he prepares to hurl his last charged card.
Wow, the Joker.
But when suddenly he's gunned down before he can throw it, and he collapses, bleeding, and is restrained with adamantium coils. As waters from the alarm sprinklers fall all around him, he's looking up at the ceiling, and the scene blurs into a ceiling fan of the courtroom.
Oh.
We've returned to the beginning of the story. Had you forgotten it started with him in the courtroom?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
it was a week ago that we talked about that.
It was 1 week ago. It makes you believe there's about to be a big action scene, and then it suddenly cuts away. So now, back in the courtroom, Gambit is testifying. He admits to being a thief and a mutant, but insists that he's not a liar. He accuses Nathan Essex, seated in the back of the court, of being the true criminal, someone exploiting and experimenting on mutant society, and people have just ignored it. The courtroom erupts. The judge holds Gambit in contempt and fines him $50,000. And Gambit is dragged out against his will of the courtroom, screaming that even George Washington was a mutant. Next, Essex takes a stand. He coolly denies everything. He claims none of Gambit's testimony is true, and the jury remains unmoved. Gambit is now found guilty of attempted murder and is sentenced to 50 years in prison. Essex exits the courtroom relieved, and he calls in the result. It's a pretty grim ending, don't you think?
Wow, that's the end.
Well, until suddenly...
Oh!
A street kid runs past and gives him an envelope. Essex opens the envelope and he sees headshots of actors. But hang on, these actors, that's the bailiff and the courthouse guard. They were all actors. Essex starts to panic, and flashbacks suddenly start to reveal the con. This is the classic, you think they've lost and then you see their secret plan. See, Henri and Bella have assembled the crew, which now include the Vanisher twins and Jamie. Fake guards copied Essex's keys and fingerprints. Jamie is using a voice recording and facial disguise to infiltrate Essex mansions during the trial. Bella and her team have raided Essex lab, destroying all the equipment, and they've freed all the mutant children. All while Essex was sat confidently in that courtroom. Essex is trying to regroup, but before he can even reach the cell to find where Remy is, a reporter stops him cold and says, 100 mutant kids have just showed up at our front steps, and they say they come from your facility. Essex is nervously unraveling now. Everything is coming out. He rushes back inside, and at the holding cell, he finds Gambit, cuffed and waiting. But wait a minute. Gambit starts to transform now into Mystique.
Wow. I was hoping Mystique would be in here sometime.
She slips out of the handcuffs effortlessly and vanishes through a window. Essex is left alone, realizing even Gambit's courtroom speech was all part of the ruse. Outside now, Mystique climbs into Henri's car, demanding her payment, and the real Gambit is already inside waiting. The crew now regroup at the Bordeaux compound, celebrating their perfect con. Essex has now been investigated for all the crimes, seems that he's going to go down, and Marianne has been arrested for admitting to all the drug smuggling escapades they're up to. Jamie, Danny, and Mask, they all look even sharper now. They're no longer poor thieves, but they're looking pretty flash in new clothes.
Hell yeah.
And Gambit and Bella, they dance together. They're having a big party in the house. And as they do, he takes out the small engagement ring that he had stolen as a child and that he'd gone back to the old house to find. And he slips it on Bella's finger and they dance together. This is from the script. This is verbatim from the script. The dance continues. And the movie ends in the last place we'd expect, with a funky, ecstatic, Bollywood-style dance party. As Gambit and Bella dance, and the music reaches its climax, we slam to black.
How odd. So, like, it
Very
goes like closing credits of Slumdog Millionaire with, like, a Bollywood dance and stuff, or even a 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the Age of Aquarius dance number. It's so weird that there's been two musical references in this so far. One is 1999 by Prince.
Yeah.
And the other is like a Bollywood dance number. It's just a real shame that New Orleans doesn't have a rich music culture they could have drawn for either of these moments. It's weird to me that instead of like a progression style New Orleans jazz band, they decide to end this on a Bollywood style dance party. That's how it's written in the script.
Bizarre.
But that is how the film ends. I must admit, I like that it makes you think they're going to do a big action sequence, and then actually what they've done is a con.
And much like the jazz musicians of New Orleans, you too played me like a fiddle, talking about how I find it annoying when these superhero movies turn to superheroism instead of playing into their other genre hybridities to then actually do a great version of that. I was duped. It had like the Sting kind of ending. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah. They call me the Gambit of podcasting, the way I manipulate people like that.
Manipulated me.
And I'm always throwing stuff at people as well. That's also why
Mr. Sinister over here.
So that's the end of the film. What do you make of it?
It's cool. It's always so funny with this podcast. I go, do I think that would be a good movie? I can't even imagine if watching it. But I enjoy hearing my friend tell it to me. So it's like, what do I think? But
you need to divorce yourself from like, did I have a good time
Yeah.
learning about it to do I think it was good? I think, if nothing else, this is interesting and a kind of original version of a superhero film.
I agree. Like, it would kind of be filling some kind of void. Would it spice things up? Maybe, but I think it would have to be pitched lower, like the way that Deadpool was. Like going, hey, we're doing a little experiment for a small amount of money. Because I don't know why people get so up in arms about how much money a film costs to make. It's not coming out of your pocket. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, that's a good point. Who cares how much F1 cost and how much they sold in advertising?
Yeah, I'm
it's
like,
not my money.
Who cares? I mean, like, I always think of like, what was it? The Better Man. Like, people going like, it costs how much? You're like, who cares? It was government funded. And they don't need to make that money back. The government goes into that to create arts jobs and stuff in Australia. Who cares how much it costs? It employed like thousands of Australians.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to make the money back because it was government funded for the most part. Like, who gives a shit?
You and I are people that probably partly paid for it with our taxes, and we're fine with it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fine.
I mean, paid
It's
for
a cool
me.
movie.
I got a job for a second out of it. Like, that's it.
Yeah, it's all good. So, what happened? That's the real question that we always answer. So, by September of the same year that this draft was put in, Rupert Wyatt left the film. The official reason was scheduling conflict. But later, in March 2019, he admits that he left the film because the studio slashed the budget quite considerably following the financial failure of the Fantastic Four, which was a big $150 million superhero flop from Fox.
Yeah.
And they were not willing to let the script be rewritten to match the lower budget before the beginning of production, which was only 10 weeks away. So 10 weeks out, they slashed it.
Wow.
I reckon you could slash it a bit, to be honest. I don't think you need $154 million.
Yeah, I think so. But it's also like maybe that's the movie he wanted to make would have actually cost that much money.
That's true. And also, like, do it more than 10 weeks out.
Yeah.
Doing it 10 weeks out is only going to lead to Fantastic Four again.
Yeah.
So Fox began furiously meeting with potential replacements in the hope to keep the release date. So some of the people that they met with was Joe Cornish, Shane Black, and F. Gary Gray.
Oh, dude, I was going to say, this movie has F. Gary Gray written all over it. Like, honestly, his name popped into my head multiple times throughout these entire 2 episodes. Going, this feels like an F. Gary Gray joint. Because I kept on thinking about his heist film, Set It Off.
Well, what they ended up doing is, if Rupert Wyatt is a journeyman director, they didn't change the mold much because they ended up hiring a different journeyman director. A man by the name of Doug Liman.
Oh, wow. One of the great journeymans of our lifetime,
He is,
I reckon.
because he has, like, no distinct set style.
Yes.
But generally you watch something and go, that was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I like every Doug Liman movie. And,
have
Edge of
you seen-
Tomorrow's around this time.
Edge of yeah. Well, he doesn't leave for Edge of Tomorrow. That is already filmed. But have you seen the Doug Liman movie with Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley? It's called.
What are you talking about?
It's
I've never
called-
heard. What are you I don't know this movie.
Oh god, what is it called? It's got a really generic title. It's so forgettable. I've forgotten the title.
Oh
Tom
my god,
Holland
I'm
is
looking it up now. Chaos Walking.
Chaos Walking. Awful. Not
Dude,
good.
have I seen it? I've never even knew it existed. Oh, this cast is crazy. Daisy Ridley, Tom Holland,
Yeah.
Mads Mikkelsen, Nick Jonas,
And one of the
Cynthia
Jonases.
Erivo, Demian Bashir, David Oyelowo. Wow.
So this movie was one of those movies that was filmed and then released about 4 years after it filmed.
Oh my gosh. So it would have been Daisy Ridley really hot off Force Awakens. Okay.
Yes, that she was. I remember the casting of it because I think it was before they filmed Last Jedi. She filmed that.
Wait.
If you look at the release date of that film, that doesn't make much sense, does it?
Wow.
So that's the only Doug Liman I think is bad, and I don't think it's Doug Liman's fault. It sounds like that was a mess.
I'm gonna watch it tonight, mate. I'm gonna see this thing. But yeah, Doug Liman is fun for this.
He's good. He's good. I can imagine him. So Fox officially removes Gambit from the October release and moves it to February 2016. And Lyman is officially chosen to direct the film. What he does is he actually goes off and directs a movie called The Wall in 2017.
That's a very contained kind of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very small, and it's a very small movie he can do while he waits for the new draft of Gambit to come in.
I think he actually even did The Wall, and American Made ended up coming out around like the same time.
Yeah. I think American Made was filmed first, and then he also just did The Wall. He's a journeyman. He's always directing.
He can jump around. You can get him like 5 days before production, and he'll get a good movie out for you.
So he was intended to begin production on Gambit at the end of 2016, and he was expected to discard Wyatt's casting of Leah Seydoux, so you'd hate that, and begin the casting from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
And this didn't last very long because before 2017 was out, he also had a mutual split with Fox and chose instead to go to DC and direct their version of Dark Universe, which is a project that we have covered on this show.
Oh.
The Guillermo del Toro left, Doug Liman came into that, and it still didn't happen. But that's where he went off to go direct.
God, this is whack. The CMPU is really whacked.
So in October 2017, Gore Verbinski comes in talks to direct the film.
Oh my gosh, okay, that's good. I like that.
Now, this project described as a high priority for Fox. And a week later, the film is given a new February 14th, 2019 release date.
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. And already, like, it was meant to be 17, now 19. It's already been pushed back 2 other times.
God.
And Verbinski officially confirmed to direct. But by the end of the month, casting was well underway. And Jenny Bevan was hired as a costume designer. And Lizzie Kaplan was in talks to join the film as the female lead.
I like that. I love Lizzie Kaplan.
Yeah, great choice. And like an underrated screen presence.
Yeah,
Lizzie
absolutely.
Kaplan.
She's so fun.
She's better than the Now You See Me movies you may have seen her in.
I've not seen those movies, so...
After you watch Chaos Walking.
Yeah.
Slap on both of Now You See Me movies. So there was location scouting going on at this point now. Obviously, a lot of it being filmed in New Orleans. However, within a month, Verbinski withdrew from the project due to a scheduling conflict. The creative differences were also reported. We're now in January 2019. And it's now reported that Channing Tatum was actually interested in directing the film himself.
Oh, good on him.
Yeah.
I
And
like
he has
that.
since gone off to direct a movie. He directed a movie called Dog. And it's not the best film in the world, but it's very competently directed. Like, he's clearly got the skill set required.
It's an Apple original, right? I see the ads for it every now and
I
then.
think it is. But imagine your first ever film being a $150 million comic book movie.
Yeah.
The absolute pressure. Simon Kinberg, who is the kind of stalwart of the Fox X-Men universe, confirmed that the version of the film that they were developing is actually now at this point significantly departed from the earlier script and plans. And he said the tone had changed from being a straight-up heist movie to being a romantic comedy.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, less interesting, I think.
Are there any other genre hybrids, superhero movies with romantic comedy outside of Venom?
I don't know if there is. Yeah, maybe this is a more original take. But about that being said, I don't think there's a proper heist one yet either, except for maybe Ant-Man.
Yeah, Ant-Man, kind of. I mean, that was when, like, Joe Cornish was another good pick in the, like, list of names you rattled off.
Yeah.
Thousands of names, Rolodex of people that were attached to this movie at one point in time.
So the problem is that this was all happening in February 2019.
Oh.
And in March 2019, unfortunately for this film, the acquisition of Fox by Disney is completed.
Yeah.
And officially in May 2019, Gambit is officially cancelled by Disney and removed from all release schedules.
Brutal, sad.
However, there is a slight little light at the end of this dark tunnel, because I mentioned that one of the directors that Channing Tatum met with originally was Sean Levy.
Yep.
And many years later, Tatum did finally appear as the character officially in the MCU by filmmaker Sean Levy in Deadpool and Wolverine. Wow. So he finally got to play the role he'd always wanted to play.
That's the other movie I watched today. I'm going to watch Chaos Walking, Deadpool versus Wolverine, or whatever it's called.
Between them, you need to watch both Now You See Me movies.
Yes.
And you're in for an absolutely awful night. So with all this in mind and all the chaos, would you want to see this film?
Yes, because it's always been one of those ones that tantalize me. Like, you can't help but, like we started this conversation with a week ago, saying that we are of that Deadpool generation.
Yeah.
You know, we thought he was so cool. I loved him in the animated series. Always want to see something like that. I think that if they made the movie we just experienced now, probably not very interested in it. But if they made that movie in between 2014 and 2019, perhaps I would be more interested in it then.
That's true. I only want to see this movie if it's made in the era it was supposed to be made. Isn't that weird? I don't know why that is exactly, but a modern version of this holds no interest to me. But the 2016 version does.
Yeah, and I think it also is partly because, like, now we're in a different... Like, you would have to do something even more different to stand out in superhero culture, because I'll be honest with you, I don't know the last superhero movie I saw in the cinema.
The most important thing to come out of this is this has been requested for ages. People have always wondered about it. The cast have been excellent. Cameron Logsdon is a great Gambit.
Yeah.
They have been able to visualize it. But what we like to do on this podcast is also give people a weird recommendation. And unfortunately, the official recommendation from the end of this podcast is that everyone should go and watch Chaos Walking.
Wow, that's it. We will all be watching Doug Liman's Chaos Walking.
1 second, and that is official. Well, we have come to the end of the entire season of Cancelled Movie Report. We hope you've enjoyed this season, and we would love it to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you like to listen. That really does help us get discovered in the charts. It would also be terrific if you could give us a 5-star rating, or most importantly of all, tell your friends. We're completely independent here at Cancelled Movie Report, so your support means the world to us. And what do you think of this season, and have we missed anything? We'd love to hear from you. You can always get in touch with us via cancelledmovies@gmail.com or @cancelledmovies on all of the socials. And if there's a Cancelled Movie project you want to hear next season, just let us know. You can fill out a form in the episode description alerting us to a project, and we may just give it the Cancelled Movie Report treatment.
And I would recommend doing so because I have done it maybe more than anyone else, right?
You are up there, but without giving names, there is one person that has done it a lot.
Well, I've been lucky enough to get a few of mine turned into episodes earlier this season. My dream of all dreams to do the Planet of the Apes movie that I'd been reading about for years and years.
I'm Michael Campbell. I have hosted, edited, and produced this episode. And I'd also like to thank our amazing guest, Mr. Alexei Toliopoulos. If people like you and the concept of video stores, is there anything you could recommend that would combine the two?
Oh boy, do I have a great recommendation for you. You can check out my show. It's on YouTube at the Batuta Advocate YouTube channel. It's also anywhere you can get podcasts. It is called The Last Video Store, where I talk to cool, fun, exciting, interesting people about their favorite movies, and like a video store clerk does, I will give them a recommendation based on their taste. Who have we had on recently? We had the Philippou brothers on.
Yep. I really liked your episode with Lee Winnell, by the way.
That's one of my faves too. I'm a big Lee Winnell head, so I was so excited to get him in there. Hilltop Hoods. That's one that hasn't come out yet. But
for all you Americans out there, trust us, they're cool.
They are cool. Yeah, we've had some really good people on in recent times.
Not to mention, by the way, Chris Hemsworth and Annie Taylor-Joy.
Yeah, of course. We get a few people from those junkets and stuff like that. But there's some real good ones where we've got like the full format episode where I talk to them about their favorite movies. Of course, your friend and former guest on this show, Zach Ruane, has been on a few times as well. The Auntie Donna Boys. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a great podcast. I highly, highly recommend it. If you enjoy this, you'll definitely enjoy the Last Video Store. We also have to thank our amazing voice cast, which included Cameron Logsdon, Lydia Caswell, Erion Moore, Michael Hahn, and Paul Kozinski as Essex. And thank you all for another really fun season. I am feeling a little bit burnt out in all honesty, but I'll be back soon enough because I have a few ideas for content between seasons. And if you want more of me, you can always check out my other podcast, Reddit on Reddit. With more than 450 episodes, there's plenty to be getting on with. But until then, take care.